Introduction to the Alien Race and Human Test Pilot. In a distant galaxy, far beyond the reach of human exploration, lay the planet Virex. This vibrant world was home to the Virexians, an advanced alien race known for their breathtaking technology and remarkable flying abilities. With their sleek, aerodynamic bodies and intricate wing structures that could shift shape mid-flight, they had mastered the skies long before humanity even looked up at the stars. Yet, despite their prowess, they felt something was missing, a spark of creativity that seemed to elude them. The Virexians had watched Earth from afar, intrigued by its inhabitants. Among them was one human who stood out, Captain Alex Ryder, a test pilot renowned for his audacious maneuvers and unyielding spirit. His reputation as a fearless aviator had spread through interstellar channels, reaching even the ears of the Virexian High Council. They decided that if anyone could teach them the true art of flying, it would be this human. As Captain Ryder prepared for his journey to Virex, he was filled with excitement and curiosity. He had always dreamt of flying alongside beings from other worlds, but had never imagined that he would be called upon to teach them. The thought made him chuckle. After all, he was just a pilot, albeit an exceptional one. But what could he possibly impart to an advanced species? Upon arriving on Virex, Ryder was greeted with awe by the locals. Their shimmering skin reflected colors that danced like sunlight on water, and their large eyes sparkled with intelligence. They led him to their capital city, Arathis, where towering spires mimicked the shapes of soaring birds. The atmosphere buzzed with anticipation. This was not just a meeting of two species, but a fusion of ideas that could change both worlds forever. In preparation for his demonstration flight, Ryder spent time observing the Virexian pilots. He noted their precision and discipline, but also sensed a certain rigidity in their approach, a stark contrast to his own improvisational style. As he climbed into one of their sleek spacecrafts for the first time, he felt both exhilarated and nervous. Would they appreciate his methods? Would they see value in his unorthodox techniques? With a deep breath, Ryder powered up the engines. The spacecraft hummed with energy as it lifted off smoothly from its launch pad. He glanced at his Virexian co-pilot, Xyler, whose antennae twitched with excitement. As they ascended into the sky, Ryder felt an overwhelming sense of freedom wash over him, the kind that only comes when soaring through clouds at breakneck speeds. Ryder executed a series of maneuvers designed to showcase human ingenuity, steep climbs followed by sharp turns that defied conventional physics. Xyler's eyes widened as they performed barrel rolls, and loops that sent adrenaline rushing through both pilots. The Virexians had always valued precision over flair. Witnessing this display ignited something within them, a desire to break free from their self-imposed limitations. As they landed back on solid ground amidst cheers from onlookers, Ryder felt a surge of pride. He had not only demonstrated his skills, but had also opened a window into a new way of thinking about flight, one that embraced creativity alongside technical mastery. Later that evening, as Ryder sat down with Xyler and other Virexian pilots over a feast celebrating their newfound partnership, he sensed an eagerness in them to learn more about human techniques. They peppered him with questions about his training methods and experiences as a test pilot. "How do you manage fear during those daring stunts?" Xyler asked curiously. Ryder smiled knowingly. Fear was part of flying, but so was overcoming it through practice and instinct. "You learn to trust your instincts," he replied simply, "and sometimes you have to let go of control." This simple statement resonated deeply with Xyler and the others around him. They realized that while they had mastered technical aspects of flying, they lacked the emotional connection that came from embracing risk, a lesson they were eager to explore further. As days turned into weeks on Virex, Ryder found himself immersed in this fascinating culture while sharing everything he knew about flying. In return, he learned about their advanced technologies, how they manipulated gravitational fields and utilized energy sources far beyond anything Earth had ever seen. The exchange became more than just lessons in aerodynamics. It evolved into a mutual admiration for each other's strengths and weaknesses. Each day brought new challenges as they practiced together in simulators designed by Virexian engineers, machines capable of mimicking real-world conditions with astonishing accuracy. Ryder's heart raced with anticipation at what lay ahead. He could feel that together they were on the brink of something extraordinary, a blending of two worlds united by passion for flight. As he gazed out at the stars from Virex's surface one night after training sessions filled with laughter and camaraderie, he couldn't help but wonder how this collaboration would shape not just their futures, but also those yet unborn across galaxies yet unexplored. Little did they know that this partnership would soon be tested in ways none could foresee, pushing boundaries further than either species thought possible while forging bonds stronger than mere friendship or alliance. Bonds forged in the fires of shared dreams, soaring high above all expectations. First encounter. The flight demonstration. The sun hummed low over the horizon of Virex, casting a golden hue across the landscape. Captain Alex Ryder stood at the edge of the runway, his heart racing with anticipation. Today was not just another day of flying. It was the day he would showcase human ingenuity to the Virexians, a moment that could define the future of interstellar cooperation. As he prepared for takeoff, Ryder glanced at the gathering crowd. Virexians of all shapes and sizes filled the observation deck, their large eyes gleaming with curiosity. Among them was Captain Zorit, a high-ranking member of the Virexian elite flight squadron. Zorit had been observing Ryder's every move since his arrival, intrigued yet skeptical about this human pilot's daring style. Ryder climbed into the cockpit of the X-2B prototype, a sleek spacecraft designed through a collaboration between humans and Virexians. The ship was a marvel of engineering, featuring adjustable wings and advanced navigation systems that combined the best of both species. As he settled into his seat and secured his harness, he felt a rush of excitement mixed with a tinge of nervousness. Ready for this, he muttered to himself, running through his pre-flight checklist. The hum of the engines filled the cockpit as he powered them up, feeling the vibrations resonate through his body. He took a deep breath and focused on the task ahead. With a swift motion, Ryder pushed the throttle forward, and the X-2B roared down the runway. The acceleration pressed him back into his seat as they shot into the air. He could see Zorit and other Virexians watching intently from below, their expressions a mix of awe and disbelief. As they gained altitude, Ryder began executing maneuvers that would showcase not only speed but also agility. He performed sharp turns and steep climbs that left behind trails of vapor in the sky. Each twist and roll was met with gasps from the spectators below, who had never seen such reckless abandon in flight. Zorit's antennae twitched anxiously as he watched Ryder perform an inverted roll followed by a rapid descent toward the ground. "This is madness," he exclaimed to Lieutenant Vet, his second in command. No Virexian pilot would dare attempt such stunts. Vet nodded in agreement, her eyes wide with concern. "He's pushing those limits far beyond what we consider safe." But Ryder was in his element. He felt alive as he maneuvered through loops and dives, each movement instinctual and fluid. The thrill of flight surged through him like an electric current. This was what he lived for, freedom in its purest form. "Let's see how they handle this," he said aloud as he prepared for his final maneuver. A daring ascent followed by a rapid descent that would culminate in a breathtaking barrel roll just above the observation deck. As he executed the move flawlessly, cheers erupted from below. The X-2B soared upward before diving back toward the ground at incredible speed. Just as it seemed they would crash into the tarmac, Ryder pulled up sharply, completing the roll with precision. The crowd erupted into applause, their admiration palpable even from high above. Zorit stood frozen in disbelief. This human pilot had not only survived but thrived in what he considered reckless behavior. After landing smoothly back at the hangar, Ryder stepped out of the cockpit to a wave of applause from both humans and Virexians alike. He felt exhilarated, but also humbled by their reaction. Zorit approached him cautiously, still processing what he had witnessed. Captain Ryder, Zort began cautiously. Your skills are impressive. Thanks. Ryder replied with a grin. Just doing what I love. Zort hesitated before continuing. But you must understand that your methods are unorthodox. Ryder chuckled lightly. Unorthodox is just another way to say creative, right? Sometimes you have to break a few rules to truly fly. The conversation sparked something within Zort. Perhaps there was merit to this human's approach after all. He found himself intrigued by Ryder's philosophy, one that embraced risk rather than shying away from it. As they spoke further about flying techniques and philosophies, Zort realized that this partnership could lead to something extraordinary, a blending of their cultures that might redefine flight itself. Later that evening, Ryder joined Zort and other Virexian pilots for dinner at a local establishment known for its vibrant atmosphere and delicious cuisine. The restaurant was filled with laughter and chatter as they shared stories about their respective worlds. Ryder learned about Virexian traditions that revolved around flight, how their ancestors had once soared through skies on massive creatures before developing their advanced technology. In return, he shared tales from Earth about daring pilots who had pushed boundaries during World War II, or astronauts who had ventured into space against all odds. The exchange was enlightening. Both sides began to appreciate each other's histories and struggles in mastering flight. As they bonded over shared experiences, it became clear that they were not so different after all, both driven by dreams of soaring high above their worlds. As dinner concluded and laughter filled the air, Zort raised his glass in a toast. To new beginnings, he declared, looking directly at Ryder. To new beginnings. Everyone echoed enthusiastically. That night marked a pivotal moment in their relationship, a shift from mere observation to collaboration fueled by mutual respect and curiosity. They were ready to embark on an adventure that would challenge their understanding of flight, while forging bonds that transcended species. As Ryder lay in bed later that night, staring up at the alien stars through his window, he couldn't shake off the feeling that this was just the beginning. A journey that would lead them both to discover not only new flying techniques, but also deeper connections between their worlds. Little did they know that tomorrow would bring challenges neither could anticipate. Tests of skill and courage that would push them beyond their limits as they learned together what it truly meant to fly. Cultural exchange, learning and teaching. The sun rose over Virex, bathing the landscape in a warm glow. Captain Alex Ryder stood on the balcony of his quarters, gazing out at the alien city of Erethus. The vibrant colors of the buildings and the bustling activity below filled him with excitement. Today marked the beginning of a new phase in his mission, a chance to teach the Virexians about the art of flying. Ryder had spent the last few days demonstrating his flying skills, but now it was time for something deeper. He was determined to share not just techniques, but also the philosophy behind human flight, the creativity, intuition, and daring that characterized it. He understood that while Virexians were technically superior in many ways, they lacked the emotional connection to flying that humans often had. As he made his way to the training facility, Ryder felt a mix of nerves and anticipation. Would they embrace his unconventional methods? Would they be open to learning from a human? He entered a large hangar where several Virexian pilots awaited him, their eyes filled with curiosity. "Good morning, everyone." Ryder greeted them with enthusiasm. "Today, we're going to explore some unique flying techniques that might seem a bit different from what you're used to." Zort stood at the front of the group, his antennae twitching with interest. "We are eager to learn, Captain Ryder," he said, his voice steady but tinged with uncertainty. Ryder smiled, sensing their eagerness. "Great. Let's start with something simple, understanding how to feel the aircraft beneath you. Flying isn't just about controls. It's about becoming one with your ship." He led them through basic exercises that emphasized awareness and intuition. They practiced in simulators designed to mimic real-world conditions, focusing on how to read the ship's responses to their inputs. Ryder encouraged them to trust their instincts rather than relying solely on calculations. As they progressed through the day, laughter and excitement filled the hangar. The Virexians began to loosen up, trying out maneuvers that pushed their limits. Zort surprised himself by attempting a daring role that he would have never considered before meeting Ryder. "See, you've got it." Ryder cheered as Zort executed the maneuver flawlessly. "Now let's try combining that with a steep climb." The training sessions became a blend of laughter and learning. Ryder shared stories from his own experiences, moments when he had faced fear head-on or had to improvise in challenging situations. The Virexians listened intently, absorbing every word. As days turned into weeks, their bond deepened. Ryder found himself not just teaching, but also learning from them. He marveled at their precision and discipline, qualities that complemented his own spontaneous style. One afternoon, as they took a break from training, Xylor approached Ryder with a question that had been on his mind for some time. "Captain, why do humans take such risks when flying? Isn't it dangerous?" Ryder paused, considering how best to answer. "It is dangerous," he admitted, "but sometimes those risks lead to incredible discoveries, both about ourselves and our capabilities." Xylor nodded thoughtfully, processing this information. "So, it is not just about flying, but also about understanding who we are." "Exactly," Ryder exclaimed. "Flying teaches us about courage, resilience, and creativity. It's about pushing boundaries and finding joy in the journey." As they continued their training sessions, Ryder introduced more advanced techniques, like aerial acrobatics and tactical maneuvers used in dogfights. The Virexians were initially hesitant but soon embraced these challenges with enthusiasm. One day, while practicing evasive maneuvers in simulated combat scenarios, Zort found himself caught off guard by an unexpected move from Ryder. The human pilot executed a sudden barrel roll followed by a sharp turn that left Zort scrambling to keep up. "Whoa! How did you do that?" Zort exclaimed after regaining control. "It's all about anticipating your next move," Ryder replied with a grin. "You have to be quick on your feet, or wings." The camaraderie between them grew stronger as they faced challenges together. They shared meals filled with laughter and stories of their respective cultures, a delightful blend of human humor and Virexian traditions. Ryder learned more about Virexian flight rituals, how they honored their ancestors who had first taken to the skies on great winged creatures before technology transformed their world. In return, he shared tales of Earth's aviation pioneers who had risked everything for flight. These exchanges enriched their understanding of each other's worlds and fostered respect for their differences. As training progressed toward its climax, the final test flight, excitement buzzed through both human and Virexian pilots alike. This mission would be unlike any they had undertaken before, a joint operation where they would combine their skills in real-time scenarios. On the eve of this monumental day, Ryder gathered everyone for a final briefing in the hangar. The atmosphere was electric with anticipation as he addressed both teams. "Tomorrow is not just about testing our skills," he began passionately. "It's about proving that together we can achieve greatness beyond what we ever thought possible." Zort stepped forward confidently, addressing his fellow pilots in turn. "Let us show our human allies what we are capable of. We will fly as one." The room erupted in cheers as excitement filled the air, a shared sense of purpose binding them together like never before. That night, as Ryder lay in bed reflecting on how far they had come since his arrival on Virex, he couldn't help but feel hopeful for what lay ahead. This partnership had blossomed into something extraordinary, a collaboration built on trust and mutual respect. Little did they know that tomorrow would bring challenges neither could anticipate, tests of skill and courage that would push them beyond their limits as they learned together what it truly meant to fly. The training sessions, bridging the gap. The morning sun illuminated the training grounds of Erithus, casting long shadows across the sleek spacecraft lined up in preparation for the day's exercises. Captain Alex Ryder stood at the center of the hangar, surrounded by eager Virexian pilots, their vibrant colors shimmering in the light. Today marked a pivotal moment in their collaboration, a chance to put everything they had learned into practice. Ryder could feel the energy in the air, a palpable mix of excitement and nervousness. The Virexians had embraced his teachings with enthusiasm, but now it was time to see how well they could adapt to human-style flying under pressure. He had designed a series of drills that would challenge their skills and push them beyond their comfort zones. "All right, everyone," Ryder called out, his voice echoing through the hangar. "Today, we're going to engage in some tactical maneuvers. This will be a test of both individual skills and teamwork. Remember what we've practiced. Trust your instincts and communicate with each other." Zoret stepped forward, his antennae twitching with determination. "We are ready, Captain Ryder. Let us show you what we can do." With a nod of approval, Ryder led them to their ships, sleek Virexian fighters modified for their joint exercises. The pilots climbed into their cockpits with a mix of anticipation and apprehension. Ryder took a moment to check in with each pilot, offering encouragement and addressing any lingering doubts. As they launched into the sky, the vastness of Virex enveloped them, a breathtaking expanse filled with swirling clouds and vibrant colors. Ryder felt a surge of pride as he watched the Virexians maneuver their ships with newfound confidence. "Let's start with some basic formations," he instructed over the comms. "I want you to fly in pairs and execute coordinated turns." The Virexians responded swiftly, pairing off and aligning themselves in formation. Ryder observed closely as they executed sharp turns and synchronized movements. At first, there were a few missteps, ships veering off course or losing alignment, but with each attempt, they grew more cohesive. "Good. Now let's add some complexity," Ryder said, pushing them further. "I want you to incorporate evasive maneuvers while maintaining your formations." The challenge was met with enthusiasm as the pilots began to experiment with speed and agility. They darted through the sky like graceful birds, weaving in and out of formation while executing rolls and dives. Laughter filled the comms as they encouraged one another, reveling in their shared excitement. "Xyler, watch your speed on that turn," Ryder called out, noticing one pilot pushing too hard. "I've got it," Xyler replied confidently, adjusting his approach just in time to avoid a potential mishap. As they continued their drills, Ryder introduced more advanced maneuvers, split S-turns, barrel rolls, and high-speed chases. The Virexians embraced each new challenge with enthusiasm, pushing themselves to adapt to human techniques while still incorporating their own unique styles. However, not all moments were smooth sailing. During one particularly ambitious drill involving rapid ascent followed by a sharp dive, Zoret found himself struggling to keep up with Ryder's pace. "Captain, I can't maintain control," Zoret exclaimed over the comms as he fought against the forces pressing him down. "Trust your instincts. You've got this," Ryder encouraged him from ahead. With determination etched on his face, Zoret focused on what he had learned from Ryder: the importance of feeling connected to his ship rather than relying solely on calculations. He adjusted his grip on the controls and found a rhythm that allowed him to regain control just before plummeting too low. "I did it," Zoret shouted triumphantly as he pulled up just in time. "Excellent work," Ryder praised him over the comms. "That's what I'm talking about." As the sun began its descent toward the horizon, casting an orange glow across the sky, they transitioned into a final exercise, a simulated dogfight scenario where they would face off against each other in friendly competition. "Remember," Ryder explained as they gathered for a briefing before starting the exercise, "this is about strategy as much as skill. Work together and anticipate each other's moves." The pilots nodded enthusiastically, eager to put their training to the test. As they launched into the simulated battle, adrenaline surged through them all. The sky erupted into a flurry of motion as ships darted around each other like fireflies in a summer night. Ryder watched from above as pairs of Virexians engaged in tactical maneuvers, some attempting flanking strategies while others executed daring dives to evade imaginary enemy fire. Laughter echoed through their comms as they cheered each other on. "Xyler, flank left," Zort called out during one intense moment when he spotted an opportunity to catch an opponent off guard. Xylor responded immediately, veering left while Zort charged straight ahead toward their target. The teamwork was seamless. It was clear that they had begun to understand not just how to fly, but how to fly together. As the simulation progressed, tensions rose. Each pilot pushed themselves further than before. They were no longer just following instructions. They were thinking creatively about how to outmaneuver one another while still adhering to safety protocols established by Ryder. After an exhilarating hour filled with laughter and cheers, alongside a few good-natured jabs at each other's flying skills, they finally landed back at base exhausted but exhilarated. "Great job today, everyone," Ryder announced as they disembarked from their ships. "You've all shown incredible growth since we started this journey together." Zort stepped forward with an appreciative expression on his face. "Thank you for believing in us, Captain Ryder," he said sincerely. "We have learned so much from you."